Let's get down to the very basics of the language. A very, very raw beginner wants to begin to learn the language. How does he learn? How does he go about it? That's the important point. The important point is how you go about it, how you start, and how you eventually go about it. So let's take a simple definition. What is a phrase? A phrase is a group of words which makes sense but not complete sense. So, how can we make a phrase? It is simply this. A phrase can comprise of an adjective and a noun. What is an adjective? An adjective is a describing or descriptive word which says something about a noun or a pronoun. So if I take the phrase multilingual and I add the noun country, we have the phrase multilingual country. Now, how do I graduate towards a sentence? So what I do, I take the subject India and I take the verb is and I get the subject multilingual country. So, in other words, when you have a phrase like the phrase I've already used, multilingual country, it makes sense but not complete sense. Because when I say multilingual country, you have to know which country I'm talking about. That will make complete sense. So now you can go about making any number of phrases. Any number of phrases. You can talk about your town, you can talk about your city, you can talk about your friend, you can talk about your phone, you can talk about anything. So, let's make some other phrases like, take a simple, like huge animal. Now, what comes to your mind when you talk about huge animal? Maybe the elephant. The elephant is a huge animal. Let's take other phrases. Let's experiment. Okay? So let's take the phrase great scientist or great physicist. You could say Albert Einstein was a great physicist. So these two parts of speech you could use to form phrases, and once you have a phrase, you can give an appropriate subject and you have a sentence. So I explained to you what is an adjective. Adjective is basically a word or a descriptive word which adds meaning to a noun. What is a noun? A noun is the name of something, name of anything. A noun names anything. No matter the moment something comes into existence, it has to be given a name for identity, and that is a noun. If you take substances, then there will be nouns such as water, cream, oil. All these are called substances. If you take emotions, it could be joy, it could be anger, it could be happiness. All these things are emotions. If you take feelings, it can be thirst, it could be hunger, it could be pain, it could be warmth, it could be cold, it could be anything. So, we have thousands and thousands of nouns and thousands of adjectives. If you know how to put together adjectives and nouns, then all you have to do is take a subject and put a verb, and you have a sentence. So the first thing that we have to learn is how to make a phrase, and from a phrase we can graduate towards a sentence. Now, basically this is an exercise in teaching you how to use the 8 parts of speech in a sentence. For instance, if you take the sentence, Tom is a boy. Now, I'm not using anything. I'm not saying whether he's intelligent or anything. I'm just saying Tom is a boy. I haven't used any descriptive word. Now I want to add another part of speech. I can say Tom is a good boy. So I've added an adjective. Now I further want to add another part of speech. I can add the adverb. Tom is a very good boy. Now I want to expand the sentence further and include a few more parts of speech. So I can say, Tom is a good boy, but he is lazy. So there I have used the conjunction but. Now you will notice that the conjunction but, when you use the conjunction but, there will be one positive and one negative, or one negative and one positive. I will say, Tom is a good boy, which is positive, but he is lazy, which is negative. But suppose I want to use the adverb, I want to use the conjunction and, then it will be 2 positives or 2 negatives. Like, Tom is a good boy and he is hardworking, or Tom is a bad boy and he is dishonest. So, this is what we have to do to achieve a sense of syntax. What is syntax? Syntax is the grammatical arrangement of words. If you know how to arrange your sentences grammatically, then automatically you will know how to use the language, how to speak English. It's all about syntax. It's all about using the right parts of speech in the right place. That is how we use the language. Now let's come to the adverb. Now, before we come to the adverb, what does the adjective do? The adjective simply has one responsibility. It modifies a noun. And it normally, in most cases, comes before a noun. So, beautiful girl, big country, multilingual country, diverse country, huge animal, huge country, all these kind of phrases you can make. You can make any number of phrases just simply by putting 2 parts of speech together, which is the adjective and the noun. Then we come to, let's talk about an adverb. What does an adverb do? An adverb has 3 responsibilities. The adverb can modify a verb. If you talk about, like, let's take the verb walk. So, walks how? Walks slowly, walks fast, walks briskly, walks energetically. Let's take the verb work. How does he work? He works hard, he works neatly, he works efficiently. Now let's take the adverb's next function. It modifies an adjective. He's rich. How rich is he? Very rich, extremely rich, quite rich. Now it modifies itself. That is another adverb. He writes clearly. How clearly? Very clearly. He eats hungrily. How hungrily? Very hungrily, extremely hungrily. This is how we make phrases, different kinds of phrases, and then you just have to add a noun and a verb, and you have a sentence.